Andy works for the Arkansas DOT along with me. He started his career with the Bridge Division, stayed with them for about 4 years before we stole him and brought him over to maintenance. Andy's going to be talking about how we use our maintenance forces in Arkansas.
This is our deployment of state forces. I thought I'd start with some exciting slides. We got this bridge back open and everything done in 14 days. I'm Andy Nanneman. I'm a senior engineer with Heavy Bridge Maintenance. RDOT's organized. We have 10 regional districts and a central office. The districts basically perform your everyday maintenance and routine public relations, and the central office is responsible for planning, design, and letting of contracts. The maintenance division kind of sets the precedence what we need to do for maintenance as a state. Heavy Bridge Maintenance, a section of maintenance division. We managed MBI with primarily in-house inspectors, prioritize bridges for contract work, which Mike has a good presentation on that Thursday. Provide statewide policy and training for bridge maintenance, repair, and preservation, and create contract plans for preservation, maintenance, and inspection work. We also have operational duties. We inspect and maintain 60 of the largest bridges in the state, approximately 10.5 million square feet of deck area. We perform and give guidance and manage specialized bridge work. Our staff includes 5 field crews, 3 of them are general maintenance, 1 paint, and 1 polymer overlay. 3 inspection teams, and 6 office personnel, 3 engineers. Here's some of that specialized bridge work. We're replacing a pin and hanger. Here we added a king post to increase the load capacity of a bridge that was posted. And on the right, we have a vertical member of a truss that was damaged by impact. Replace that. And here's your typical corrosion at beam ends that we came back and fixed and made the bridge continuous. Heavy Bridge has been doing this type of work for basically decades and passing that knowledge down. And because of that, we have a little bit of an expertise. And that, coupled with our maintenance crews and in-state forces, we can respond rapidly to immediate bridge needs. Now I'm going to talk about a couple bridges that we had immediate needs while I've been here in Heavy Bridge Maintenance. This one you can probably see there's a little bit of a dip there, and it's kind of like a similar situation to Graham. We had an inspection report indicating decay in piles, and they were not caught until they failed. This bridge might have came closer to collapsing than his. Timeline, thankfully this bridge is not a high traffic route, so we did not have to rush to get it done for traffic, but we still didn't want it to collapse all the way. So we moved quick, and within 6 days we were able to secure it against further collapse, and then after water levels dropped, we were able to replace the piles or splice them. Here's how we did it. We have Bailey units, basically 10-foot panels you can use to make trusses out of. So we did 2 double trusses down the bridge, and then we had a hanger beam that we went down and picked the cap up with all thread through the deck on top of that framework where we had our jacking platform. Here you can see where we're erecting the trusses, and we got these caster wheels from the federal surplus store so we could shove them across the bridge without it digging in. Here they are getting in place. We're lining up the all thread with the holes through the deck so we can go down and catch the cap. Picture where you can kind of get a feel for how much sag there is in that bridge. Those units are basically shoved up against each other. And all this was happening while we had heavy rains. You can see our little fabrication shop there, tent keeping us out of the rain so we can do some welding and cutting. We framed them together. We got some angle and we made some frames to give it some bracing. Here the guys are underneath getting measurements for what piles we need to stub in there. And you can see our hanger beam there with the all thread. Another shot there, you can see the framework on top sitting on the truss where we'll be jacking off of. There you can see the jacks. We got the all thread running up, you got the jack sitting on top of the beam, push it up, and then run the nuts down and do it again until we brought it all up to level. There you can see the replaced piles, and then once the water went down further, we were able to get in and put a concrete collar on them. A bridge strike. Obviously, with just keeping up with bridge deterioration, we all have good job security, but on occasion, there's also impact damage. That's all right. This happened in Jonesboro on want to say June 27th, right before 4th of July. Kind of an urban area, I-555 through by Jonesboro. So we had a lot of traffic, and we got a lot of requests to get it open as soon as possible. Day one, accident occurred about 10 a.m. Heavy bridge engineers made it there by early afternoon, and our maintenance crew, they had to mobilize from across the state. They got there by approximately 5:30. Day two, we started work at 6 and we restored traffic to 555 and 2 lanes of overpass by 10 p.m. There you can see we got putting in a false bent, 4 columns with a steel cap. And there we are by 10 p.m. We're setting up barrier so we can open up traffic while you got the Bobcat over on the side already getting rid of concrete. Days 3 and 4, we removed the rest of the concrete that needed to be replaced of the cap and column, tied new column reinforcing steel, and formed and poured the concrete to let it cure over the weekend. Here you can see where we've got the existing rebar tied up so it's not hanging down. New column steel is already tied. We dug up the footing to make sure it was all right and salvaged the steel coming out of it. Got the pump truck on top, hole through the deck to pour the column. There's our form work. The guys there ready for the pour. Then days 7 through 11, we formed the cap, tied the rebar, and poured the cap. And then waited, cured a couple days, and we broke cylinders, had the capacity we needed, and we restored traffic. Here you can see the formwork. We have a couple more false bends there on each side of the cap to support the formwork. There's a good shot of the formwork. And that's what it's like after the pour. Then for aesthetic reasons, we came back and painted it, and the bridge looks pretty good. I blew through that pretty fast, so if you got any questions about those repairs.
Andy, it sounds like you guys have a wealth of knowledge there. Do you guys have a database, or how are you storing this knowledge and passing it down? How are you keeping track of this stuff, or have you thought about that, or what's the plan there?
We probably do need a little more organized as far as digital goes, but right now Mike's got a pretty good file system going where he remembers things he's seen and can pull the job out, and we rely a lot on Mike right now.
For the crushing piles and the temporary truss, were there any fail safes that were possible instead of just the threaded rods? I know it's limited underneath as to how you could support the structure than just overhead with the threaded rods. Was there anything that you guys had to protect the workers underneath other than just supporting from above?
No, what we did on that, we did reinforce the end bent and the intermediate bent where more load was going, but the guys underneath, we did not have any more support.
I'm just curious, how did you get to that point with that bridge? Were there no signs in the previous inspection reports of the failing piles? Or
There was decay mentioned, and I think it was probably an overload went over piles that were already rode up for decay, and before district forces could get out there and replace them or fix them, an overload went over and caused the failure. Because it was immediate. It wasn't like there was sag or failure. It was just signs of decay, and then the bridge was closed.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.